Every single thing that happened in this chapter was built up, foreshadows, introduced 10, 20, 40 chapters ago. Yet I did not see it coming. When I flipped that last page, I was genuinely surprised, and that is masterful writing. Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today, we are going to take a fully spoilery look at Kaiju number 8, chapter 104, and everything that led up to this chapter. But before that, if you don't want any spoilers at all, you can go click out the links below this video to get yourself a copy of one of my books. Now, I am not claiming that I weave together the world building and story elements nearly as carefully as Matsumoto does, not nearly as skillfully, but I do my best with dying embers, dragons, aliens, and things that go boomp in the night in the Pacific Northwest. Now, full spoilers! What happens in this chapter? Kaiju number 8 bodily blasts through Kaiju number 9's absorption cocoon, rescuing Mina instantly. There is no fight, no struggle. Kaiju number 8 just shows up and tears through Kaiju number 9 like butter, perfectly extracting Mina from all those tendrils that are burrowing into her flesh without damaging her. Was this quick end to the rescue part of the operation a letdown? Was it cheap that Kaiju number 9 didn't have to work harder for that? No, 1,000 times no, not in the least. This was a profoundly satisfying surprise. And it was a surprise. I was shocked when I turned that last page and saw Captain Mino Ashiro safe. I mean, for a given definition of safe, they are still on the battlefield and she is still covered in Kaiju number 8 fibers after all. And she's probably going to have massive medical complications, 10 years off the end of her life, cancer, yada, yada, yada. But this short confrontation did not feel rushed, did not feel like a disappointment. Why? Because Matsumoto has been building this scene up since the first 2 chapters, when we first see Mina's resentment of Kafka, but had no explanation for it at that point. This scene was built up with every deeper layer that we understood their friendship. The years of growing and planning together, joining the defense force, staying side by side. They had this plan, they had this bond. This deep bond. As soon as Kaiju number 8 starts fighting, we see the preferred attack style, so switching to a different point. Kaiju number 8 attacks with no monologue, no talking, just barrel right in and punch as hard as possible. That was his first attack. That was his latest attack. We see Kafka specialize his brain in analyzing kaiju. Even multiple kaiju fuse together in order to find out not only their cores, but also reproductive organs, weak points, whatever he can use. Again, a different point. In the battle where Kaiju number 9 was generating from the Ant Kaiju, we see Kaiju number 8 use a nearly identical attack to the one he uses in this chapter, blasting through one of the 2 fused organisms and gutting something important out of one of them while leaving the other intact. Importantly, Kaiju number 8 did not destroy the ant core until he could analyze it. He thought it was Kaiju number 9's core, but he had to make sure. So he carefully pulled the entire organ out of the body, and the organ was still perfectly intact, with a few little tendrils extra coming off of it. Kaiju number 8 had to make sure to destroy it after the fact, and he needed to know that it was the core he thought it was. It wasn't, but he was able to find that out by this examination. This shows us that Kaiju number 8 is capable of removing entire organs from kaiju with a surgeon's delicate precision, such that it would still be possible for the organ to function, thus necessitating the need to destroy it. That level of delicate excision is nearly an impossible task on the battlefield, and is probably explained by Kaiju number 9's degeneration power. This other point. See, way back before even chapter 20, Kaiju number 9 noted that Kaiju number 8's attacks, those punches seasoned with that sparkling blue energy, made it kind of hard for him to regenerate. And even as far back as Kaiju number 8 fighting the Kaiju during the training arc, we saw the fibers, the tendrils of Kaiju number 9's reanimated puppets stop regenerating at Kaiju number 8's command. Back during the Revelation arc, when Kafka was trapped in the Kaiju number 8 mind space, case, while Kaiju number 8 battled the Director General Iso Shinamaya, we saw that Kokoru's words, her emotions, her friendship was enough to reach him. So we saw that a human, having been eaten by a kaiju, as Kafka was, can still hear things, can still respond to the outside world. In short, every single element used to give us this twist, this subversion of our expectation that Kaiju number 8 was in for one of those long, drawn-out battles to free Mina from Kaiju number 9. Every single element of that twist was lovingly laid out for us to see and understand from the very beginning of the story, to the point where you wondered why you were even surprised by it. Was this some master plan of Matsumoto's? Was he planning on having Kafka rescue Mina from Kaiju number 9 in just this way from day one, and planned for it by adding those specific elements? Now, that is of course entirely possible. A creator of Matsumoto's caliber absolutely can get one specific image in their mind and build a beautiful story towards that. But even if it is true, I think there is something else going on. An added, or possibly even more important idea, another creative element at work: allowing yourself limitations as a creator. See, as a creator, as an author, you want to stick firmly to the internal logic of your world. You want to use the tools that you have laid out for yourself, and no more. Use them well and creatively, and feel free to introduce new tools as the story goes on, but when it comes down to big climactic moments like this one, where Kaiju number 8 rescues Mina, you really need to use only those tools that you have already well established. It is entirely possible, as I say, that this scene has been something Matsumoto has been working towards for years. However, it is far more likely that Matsumoto sat down not too long ago while planning out this chapter, how this battle was going to go, and reread all of his work. He probably took stock of the elements he had written in: Kafka and Mina's bond, human voices reaching trapped humans, Kaiju number 8's anti-regeneration ability, Kafka's ability to find and extract organs whole, Kaiju number 8's preferred full speed ahead attack strategy, and Kaiju number 9's slower analytical approach. Matsumoto looked at that, accepted them as his limitations, as his rules, and asked himself, how would this fight play out logically? And Matsumoto probably ran a simulation in his head. He probably ran many simulations and chose the most logical one, the one that is most consistent with the rules of this world, the limitations he has placed on himself. And that is how we were blessed with this wonderfully satisfying plot twist where we don't get to see a 5-chapter-long brawl with Mina's life and freedom constantly on the edge. She just gets torn out to face the long-term consequences. And we move on with the rock'em, sock'em, punch'em kaiju. All right. Now, some final thoughts. Kaiju number 9 is a walking sepulcher, a trove of bodies and minds. And that is, well, I am still processing how cool and how creepy that is. That look in the exhausted Bako's eyes was just so smug. At the end of Bako's fight, that is the look of a cat who has accomplished his goal, pulled one over on someone, and knocked something off the table. And finally, Kaiju number 8 in full protection mode, when he has his arms tenderly cradling a loved one or even a stranger, and is glaring at the source of the threat that he is about to beat down. That image is so beautiful. The Luisian image of chivalry in its perfection. Soft as a child, hard as a warrior. Not a midpoint between the two, but simultaneously the extremes of both. Mwah! Perfection. This is such an amazing manga. But what do you think, my wonderful viewers? Were you as satisfied with the plot twist as I was? Was this not a plot twist for you? Did you in fact see it coming? Leave a comment below telling me all about it. I genuinely enjoy hearing from you guys. Hit that like and subscribe button, and peace out, my wonderful viewers.
Drake McCarty's leg was shattered, deep in the wilderness. As the flash flood closed over him, something alien pulled him from the waters. A military base that shouldn't exist. An ancient warrior with secrets of his own. Drake returns to his family with a whole leg and the burden of a secret he doesn't understand. In the forest around them, someone is watching, and something followed him home. Flying Sparks. 90,000 words of science fantasy adventure. The first novel in the Dying Embers universe is now available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo by Rakuten, Google Play Books, and from the author as a signed copy. Get your copy now and step into a world where dragons walk the forest, aliens lurk on the mountain, and things go boomp in the night.
Escape into another world with the writings of author Betty Adams. Two worlds, one of utter absurdity, one of dramatic tension, both alike in aliens absolutely astounded by human behavior. Humans are weird, short, absurd science fiction stories. Flying sparks, dragons, aliens, and things that go boomp in the night.
Books available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo by Rakuten, Google Play Books, and at authorBettyAdams.com for a signed copy.